No. Okay, good. All right, here we are. Welcome back to the Felt on the Jay and Sierra Poker Show. Well, our Vegas trip has ended. Here is some footage from that trip. Overall, our best Vegas trip so far.
Mhm.
We came back plus money
Mhm.
after paying for everything, so I can't argue with that. But you know who has not returned from Vegas? Brandon Sligh, who we're going to talk about today. So
Can you offer people a quick tip on what we did differently in Vegas this time with the stay?
Yeah, I will say a Vegas hack, if you will,
Yes.
a travel hack. We were staying at the Wynn, and when we won money, we went to the front desk and paid off all our bill. We charge everything to the room, If you win, you just go pay the bill. So then at the end of the trip, even if you do go down, your bill's paid.
Your bill's paid,
right?
And you're not
Then
sad.
you're not down X amount of dollars.
Mhm.
And then like, oh yeah, now you owe this other $2,000 on
Mhm.
top of that. So that was a little hack that we tried. I think it worked out well.
Yeah.
Kind of, once you paid it, you're kind of free rolling.
Because even if you leave down per se, the bill's paid.
The bill's
so
paid.
You're
yeah. So it's not as bad. So Brandon Sligh is playing, he plays R stakes. He's not one of these high roller type of guys. So he's at our level. I started watching him. I like the way he explains the hand as it's happening. And he'll even say like, hey, I was a little confused here. I didn't know what to say, or I'm sorry, what to do here. So I thought he would be a good guy for us to talk about and make us a little better through his hands, through him going through hands, and then us talking about it too. So this is going to be at the Aria, playing normal 2-5. Are you ready? All right, here we are back in Las Vegas at the Aria with Brandon Sligh.
Okay, let's get to work.
All right, as you see here, we pick up pocket sixes, and you can see the button right there to our left. So we're going to be in late position for this hand. What are your thoughts on low pocket pairs?
I mean, in late position, I think you're going to set mine. So I think a pretty decent raise. And the flop doesn't go your way, you determine the action that way of the other players.
Yeah. I like, you could be more aggressive with these low pocket pairs in position because you have more information and you could represent more hands there. So in this spot, we see an early position guy just limps for $5. What does that tell you about his hand?
Like low suited connector type of hand, low pocket pair, stuff like King 10 offsuit.
There you go. Yeah, not high on the hand strength chart. So just limping. So I think this is an obvious raise from late position here with our pocket sixes, especially with the dead money in the middle from the blinds and the one limper that's in there. So let's see what old Brandon does here. All right, he raised to $25. So this is a 2-5 game. I would say, what you okay? Why don't you like it?
I usually raise it because, all right. So in late position, people are going to, if they're better players, they're going to put you on not such a strong hand, even with because you are in late position, you are going to raise. So I want to show a little bit more strength with it and put like $40 in.
Oh, you think he went too small at 25?
Yes. That's
Ooh.
what I do.
Okay.
Because it's always like obvious, like late position always raises. They always do these things. So I'd like to be more aggressive with my hand so that then people are putting me on a stronger hand.
Yeah, I would say $40 is a big raise from this. But if that's the way the table's playing and people are going to call you, whether they have 6, 8 suited or they have pocket kings, then yeah, that could be.
But
a
I
justified.
do mix it up too. I do mix it up. But in late position, I usually put in a bigger bet with these lower pocket pairs.
What I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say that 25 is too big of a raise, and you would go 15, 20 in this spot.
No.
I'm gonna sneeze.
Bless you.
Didn't sneeze. And I was gonna say 25. I think is an appropriate raise. I might even gone 30.
Okay.
In this spot because of the dead money in there with the limper in there. So doing the standard 3x or 4x would put me at 20 plus the small blind, big blind in there.
Okay.
I'd say 25, 30 range for me,
That's
but 40
raise.
is okay.
Yeah.
If the table is justified for that. Now, if everybody's super nitty, nobody's gonna call it $40 ever, unless you're just aces, kings, and you're just crushed, right? But if the table is real passive and they'll call you with 8-6 suited, then 40, 100% do it. All right. So I mean, I think we both agree 25 is just fine. He gets one caller at from the big blind call. Actually. All right. So we're still in position. All right. Comes king of diamonds, jack of diamonds, 8 of spades. What are your thoughts?
Okay.
It's gonna be checked to us.
Yeah, it's gonna be in his range. In this small the big blinds range here.
In like the big blind range?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, it's not gonna be such a strong hand. I think it's gonna be like a face card, like a non-suited connector kind of hand. So I mean, I'm still ahead. I make a bet here.
Yeah, and if I would disagree with you a little bit. I get what you're saying. It's in his range, but these big cards definitely favor us a lot better. If it does, I would put him on like 10 jack, and yes, he hit a jack, so he is ahead, but that's not a very strong hand on this board. He could have like queen 10, 9, 10, stuff like that. That's drawing. That's not going to want to face a lot of pressure. So a diamond draw, stuff like that. So yeah, I would in position do the same thing you're doing, betting. But I would not assume that he's got a super strong hand here, like that hit his range.
Yeah.
So I think we're both in agreement that that's probably a better flop for us in this spot. If the flop was like 6, 9, 10, that's probably all over his range. So we see Brandon bet out small of $15. Remember, he bet 25 pre-flop. Now we've down bet to 15. What do you think?
I'm okay with it. I would have bet a little bit more. But let's see. What are your thoughts?
I think I would have bet more too.
Yeah.
The villain, if this is an amateur player in the villain spot, which most of the players we play with are amateurs, they're going to read this as weakness. They're going to read $15 as weakness, which could make it tougher with our hand to bluff later. So for now, a pro, I think, would see it differently. Maybe we flop a set of kings here and we're trying to get the most money. But I think amateurs are going to read this as, oh, he's not happy with that flop. I can call with my jack here and see what happens.
No, I don't think as an amateur, I never thought that way. I was just like, oh yeah, I'll call.
Oh, okay. So you don't think that that much?
I don't even think that.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, same end though, right?
Yeah.
The amateur sees it like, oh, it's
like,
15. I'll call with my jack.
Bucks.
I'll see what happens,
Yeah.
or I'll call with my 8, see what happens, or I got a weird hand, I'll call.
Yeah.
I think I would have gone a little bit bigger to send the message and then had a plan that I'm gonna see what he does, and I'm gonna start hammering this if he shows weakness. So the villain does call, the small size. So 3 of hearts on the turn, which I think. Well, what do you think about the 3 of hearts?
To me, it's just a blank. Why is he checking again?
The villain checks to us again.
So he's doing the check call, being sneaky, because I do that a lot.
Good. Or maybe he's just check calling because he's got a weak hand.
Yeah, and he's trying to connect a little bit more, make his 2 pair. But I'm very sneaky, and I like to check call and then bet big on the river like another amateur.
Yep, that's definitely an amateur move.
Yep.
So check to us again. And you said the 3 of hearts, pretty much a blank card.
Yeah. But let's, I feel like I'm still ahead, but I'm okay with checking here because maybe it could be a trap. So I would check back.
Okay. I disagree with that.
Okay.
I would bet big here. So I'm going to really send the message home. I've got it now, guy. Now is your time to fold. I set you up with a small bet on the flop. Now I'm gonna. What's the pot? $87. Now I'm gonna bet big, and try to get you to fold your jack or 8, or maybe even a king 10 ish type of hand. Flush draw will fold. Hands that have a ton of equity, queen 10 would fold. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna let them realize their equity, because if I do check back, give him a free card. If he's drawing, he gets to see it for free. And if he does have a weak, let's say he has 10 jack here, am I gonna bluff the river? And then now he's gonna be more likely to call, because if the pot, I only bet 50 to $100, it'd be more likely to call because I checked the turn. So I think sending that signal of strength now will make him, 1, question that call that then, but 2, he'll be thinking, man, on the river, what am I gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to call $400 with my jack here.
I mean, I would have bet big both pre and on the flop.
Yep.
So my stance is a little bit different, I guess.
But you slow down now.
I slow down now, yeah.
Just because you got called. Okay. Actually, Brandon agrees with you.
Okay.
He is going to check this back also, and his reasoning is he thinks that the other player, the villain here, is on some sort of draw. So he's going to see what comes on the river and evaluate there. So river, ace of hearts. Not great for us.
Yep.
What are your thoughts?
I'm going to rep the ace here.
So now you're going to wake up and rep the ace. Okay.
Okay, so let's see what the villain does.
So villain's going to check to us.
Again?
Yep. Check.
What a little trapster.
Check.
Check
to us.
He's setting the trap.
You think?
He's a trapster. So I think I have to bet a little bit big here. I would make it $75 bet.
So you betting $75 to get him to fold?
Yes.
So, okay. So you think we're beat, and we're gonna have to bet to win. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's flip roles reverse. You were villain here, and you had 10 jack. Would you call $75 on the river?
Yeah.
So is $75 going to get it done here? You think we're bluffing?
No. So is he going to go all in? A massive overbet feels like a bluff.
It could be. Or like you said, could have the ace here. We could have queen 10 for sure. There's some hands that we could arrive on the river here. Queen 10 makes a lot of sense with us checking the turn. So yeah, just things to think about.
Yeah, I know.
When you're making these bets, make sure we're doing it for a reason.
I do think about it, but I'm thinking about what I would do. I can't what he's putting me in the blender right now based on his play, and I just
But that's
my
good.
mind
That's good.
goes to what is going on here.
I mean, that's good that we have to think through it like another player, right? Because we're not always right. And so
Yeah.
So he talks through this, and this is why I pulled this video. He talks through this on the river, and he was reading this differently than I was reading it. I thought for sure we were beat on the river now, and I was thinking like you, like if we want to win this, one, we could just shut down check and expect to lose. But two, if we want to win, we're gonna have to put in probably $150 bet. And because I mean the board's credible for us to rep two pair straights and ace X hands, and king or jacks with diamond draws all have to fold, and that's fine. So those were my two options here. He had a different view on it. He read his opponent. I don't know if it was a live read or what, but he read it that he just had nothing, basically, like a couple diamonds in his hand, and was just getting to the river. And so that's why he ends up electing to check on the river, expecting to win. So, and sure enough, he was right this time. His opponent just had a couple diamonds, random diamonds, and he ends up winning with pocket sixes. I put that in there because he thought about that hand totally different than I would think about that hand. And look how different you thought about that hand. Shows, the vast way to play these hands.
You told me to be aggressive,
poker.
and I'm aggressive now, so I'm super aggressive.
Selectively aggressive.
Yeah.
Selectively aggressive. So I think we both would have played that hand more aggressive up front, and that would have led us to an easier river decision. If, like what you said, you're betting big, if he's calling that, he may have a better hand than just 10. I think he had 10-4 diamonds or something.
Ew.
So yeah, you can kind of narrow that in if you are being.
See, if you bet bigger pre-flop, he would have folded 10-4 diamonds.
Exactly.
And
then you would have won.
But then now you're sitting here in the blender like, what do I do?
Yeah, tough spot. But yeah, cool hand.
Okay.
And that's our introduction to Brandon Sligh.
Thank you, Brandon.
Good looking guy. But until next time, see you back on the felt.
Yes.
I just made that up.